Okay, for this video I want to cover how to complete the IRS form 1099 NEC. So the NEC form was recently implemented a few years ago. It's kind of a supplement to the 1099 miscellaneous, and it's used to report non-employee compensation paid to recipients by a company or a person in the ordinary course of their trade or business. So we have the NEC in front of us, and I have just one slide with some background info and a fact pattern that we're going to go through, and then we'll jump back to the 1099 NEC. Right, so the NEC, again, it's filed by all U.S. businesses that make payments to contractors in the ordinary course of their trade or business. Personal payments are not reportable. So I have two examples here just to highlight this distinction and why personal payments are not reportable by you as the payor. So we have John. He's the owner of a marketing company, and he owns a building. One of the employee bathrooms has a leak, so he hires a plumber, Mark Jones, to come into the building and fix all the issues, right? So the total fee is $1,500. Now, John should be reporting this payment to the plumber and the IRS on a 1099 NEC because he hired the contractor and paid him in the ordinary course of his trade or business, right? So John hired somebody to come in to work for the company and perform work for the business, right? He's repairing the facilities, the building, the operations of the company. So John's going to be deducting the cost of this plumber on the business tax return, okay? It's going to be repairs and maintenance expense. So what's an example of no reporting? Well, if we take a similar fact pattern here, we have John owns a house, and it's his personal home, and he and his family live there, right? So the home is only used for purely personal reasons. The bathroom in the master bedroom starts to flood, so John hires a plumber to visit the residence and fix all of the issues. The total fee is $1,500. Now, in this case, John does not have to do any 1099 NEC reporting, right? Because John didn't make the payment in furtherance of his business, right? It's his personal home. And so because it's repairs for his personal home, he's not taking a tax deduction anywhere. There's no business return involved for plumbing repairs and a maintenance expense. So there's no 1099 NEC reporting for John. Now, just to be clear, the plumber would still have to report that as income, right? So if you have the plumber needing to record those wages on his tax return and pay income tax on it, that's okay, right? I mean, that's still required. Whether he gets a 1099 NEC or not, he's still got to report it. But the issue here is John is not the one that needs to be doing any reporting. So what elements are required to complete the form? Well, you need the name, address, and EIN of the entity or the person making the payment, so that's the payor. And then you need the information on the recipient and the amount of compensation paid to the recipient during the year. Now, the 1099 NEC and all the other miscellaneous forms, 1099 divs, all of these have to be submitted with 1096 transmittal forms. It's kind of like a summary cover sheet. And, of course, we always recommend e-filing this. E-filing is much faster, much more accurate, much simpler, so you should do it that way. So let's look at the NEC here for John's marketing company. So this is John's marketing company, right? This is the location of his building address. Here is the payer's TIN, right? So that is John's company's TIN, right? The EIN, the recipient's social security number or ITIN or EIN, whatever is appropriate there, and the recipient's name and address. So we have Mark Jones, that's his address, and then box 1 is the amount of non-employee comp paid during the year. Okay, so in this case it's $1,500. Federal income tax withheld. This might apply if you don't get a tax ID number from Mark. So if you request a Form W-9 from a recipient and they don't provide it to you, you still have to file the 1099s, report the compensation in their name, but this field will effectively be blank. And that's because you're subjecting that individual to backup withholding. So backup withholding, you have to withhold tax on this gross amount, report the amount of federal income tax withheld, and so that ensures that the IRS gets their cut of the money. My recommendation is do everything you can to not get to that point. Make sure that before you remit payment to the individual, you collect a W-9, you get their name, their TIN, and then you can appropriately report all of these items on a 1099. Make sure that is done. Okay, so that covers it for this video and tutorial on the 1099 NEC. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment below, and I look forward to seeing you again on the next video. Thank you.